history class. Students, I hope you have already seen the latest syllabus. In history, you are going to study 3 chapters. In Eco, you are going to study 3 chapters. So students, this is the reduced syllabus that you have. 3 chapters in history and 3 chapters in economics. First chapter, the story of village Palampur, we have already done, and I hope you have already completed your assignment and the holiday homework. Maintain all the assignments of lesson number 1 Eco in the register and maintain it properly. You have not sent the holiday homework to me, so please send the holiday homework also to me. You know it, the number, you can send it. Okay, so students, today you know that we are starting with the first session of history topic, that is French Revolution. When we talk about the French Revolution, this is the content that we are going to study in the entire chapter. So we are going to start with the location of France. Students, we are studying about the France, and you can see that the France is located in Western Europe. And when we talk about the geographical position of the France, it is in the northern, eastern and the western hemisphere. And when we talk about the countries surrounded with the France, they are Belgium, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, Spain and Switzerland. So when we talk about the different water bodies that surrounds, that is English Channel, Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. As you all know, Paris, the largest city of the France, is situated on the Seine River, and it's the beautiful city. You must have heard about Paris. Not only that, we have the other rivers are also there. We have Marne, Oise, Bouvron. These are the rivers that surrounds the France. And you already know the language that is spoken in the France, that is the French language. So students, today we are going to study about the French Revolution, how the French people, they have revolted against the system that was existing in the France. So students, when we talk about the different system, you must have heard about the monarchy. Monarchy, where king rules is there, or the rulers are there, dynastic rule. So monarch rule, that means monarchy. So monarchy rule was there in the France. This is the situation that we people, I am going to start with. This is the day of 14 July 1789, that every day people were living in hardships. The conditions of the people were not very good, and the people were really panicked on this day. What was the reason? You can see that we people are going to study in detail. 14 July 1789 is most important in the French Revolution, and you can consider it as a milestone of the French Revolution. On 14 July 1789, the people of the France and in the city of Paris, the people were alarmed with the situation because they have heard that the king has given order to his troops to shoot the people and arrest the people. Not only this, They have heard that the king has ordered to his troops open firing on the citizens who are breaking the rules and regulation and who are not following the system of the country. On this day, we have seen that on this particular morning of 14th July 1789, this day we have seen that on the streets of Paris, there are around 7,000 of people. They came out on streets and they started firing and protesting against the people. Why? Because they had a great anger with the king. They have taken all the things that they had available at home, eggs, arrow, bow, whatever thing was available, so that they can protect themselves with the troops that was sent by the king. So 14 July 1789 is the most important stone in the history of French Revolution. Students, we have seen that all these people, they assembled near the town hall. Main town hall was there. Everybody came. They assembled at that place and they have formed their own militia. What is people's militia? When people, common people, they fight for their own rights and they protest against the king or against the system that is there, that is formed, that military that is formed by the people is known as people's militia. So all these 7,000 people who came out of their houses, homes, on the street, all these people, they gathered nearby the town hall and they decided that we are going to fight against the king and the order that is given by the king. At this time, you can see that they knew that the troops, army troops would come and they are going to kill them, and they have heard this. This was not the fact, but they have heard, it was the rumor that the king has given the order to his troops to open fire on the citizens of the France. We have seen that they came out of their houses, their homes, and they have broken into the number of government buildings and they have demolished, and they were searching to the arms and ammunitions so that they can protect themselves and they can fight against the troops of the king. Students, there was a Bastille. There is a place called Bastille. There is a prison. You can see that prison where we arrest the people, police arrest the people and they keep them into that prison. So Bastille prison was a despotic symbol of the king's rule and it was hated by the people. Nobody likes the prisons. So it was hated by the people, and in the Bastille prison there was an armory or was also there. Armory where the king and his military used to keep all the arms and ammunitions. And they have decided, the people's militia, people all together, they have decided that they are going to proceed towards the Bastille prison and they are going to take up all the arms and ammunitions from there and they are going to release all the prisoners from the Bastille prison. Now, finally, we have seen that a group of hundreds of people, they marched towards the eastern part of the city and they have stormed the fortress prison that was known as Bastille. Bastille was stormed and was hundreds of people, they entered into that prison, and there was an armed fight was going on between the people's militia among common people and the troops of the army troops, and that was there, the security guards that was there at the Bastille prison. We have seen that in this armed fight, the commander, that was Bernard Ren de Launay. He was also killed. And when people have entered into the Bastille prison, there were only 7 prisoners were there, and there was arms and ammunition was also not there. In the armory, where the king and his military used to keep all the arms and ammunition, the arms and ammunitions were not there, and only 7 prisoners were there, and they have released those 7 prisoners also from there. And in this armed fight at the Bastille prison, the commander of the Bastille prison was also killed by the people's militia. I have already told you that Bastille was hated by all the people, and it was the despotic symbol of the power of the king. All those people who go against the power of the king, they all were arrested and they were kept in that Bastille prison. So that fortress was also demolished, broken by the people's militia. People have broken all that government buildings and all the chotex that was available, government official buildings, they have demolished. And there was a continuous rioting both in Paris and at the countryside. That means people have started the riots at different places. See student, this was the most of the people, they were against the system, king's rule. And there was another important factor of the people's protest, that the prices of the bread, prices of the essential commodities were extremely high, and the common people were not able to get all those things that they wanted for the basic survival. So they have protested against the government. So students, this was the time when historians have written the French Revolution, and historians have decided to write about the French Revolution. They said that the people were really not happy with the rule that was going on there. So what was the rule? Why people protested? And what happened, that the people's anger was at an alarming position and people have protested against the king. There must be some reason behind it. There must not be a slight reason or a minute reason will not be there. There must be a big reason and big crisis would be there. That is why the common people have protested against the monarchy rule that was going on in the France. So students, when we talk about the France rule, you can see that I'll tell you one by one about the king, about the princes, about the people and different class orders and the other things. See students, the French society during the late 18th century, you can see that during that time a feudal system was going on. Before 18th century, the feudal system was going on. That feudal system is known as old regime. This old regime has describes the society and institutions of France before 18th century. Society was broadly divided into the states and orders, and it was the aristocracy and church which used to control the economic and the social power. It was part of the feudal system that dated back to Middle Ages. Till the Middle Ages, you know that the Middle Ages ends with the part of the 18th century. So till the 18th century in the France, the feudal system was also going on. And in that feudal system, there was the landlords, and above the landlords, we have the knights, and above knights, we have the king, and this class order you can see in front of you on the screen. You can see this pyramid of power that was regulated by the people. And the common people, peasants, they had a very poor conditions, very pathetic conditions. Their condition, their livelihood, their lifestyle was miserable during the France, when monarchy rule was going on. So students, when we are talking about the monarchy, I have repeated this word monarchy. So you should know who was the monarch. Monarch means king. Who was the king there? Okay. Louis XVI. Louis XVI was the monarch. He was the king in the France. He was regulating all the entire administration, and he has ascended the throne on 1774. In the year 1774, Louis XVI became the King of France. He belonged to the Bourbon dynasty. Bourbon, B-O-U-R-B-O-N, Bourbon dynasty. He belongs to the Bourbon dynasty. When he ascended the throne, when he became the king, at that time his age was only 20 years. He was 20 years old. He was married? Yes, he was married. He was married to the Austrian princess Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette was the princess of Austria, queen of Louis XVI of France. When he ascended the throne, when he became the king, the economic condition of the France was not very good. Financial condition, economic condition of the France was not very good, because when he became the king, the treasury, khazana, the treasury was empty. There was no much money, much reserves of the money was not there. That means treasury was empty when he became the king. There must be some reasons behind why the treasury was empty. There are few basic reasons that I wanted to highlight in front of you students. See, France was helping the American colonies. There were 13 American colonies. They had a continuous war was going on with the Britain. Britain was the enemy of America, of the 13 American colonies, and France was helping the 13 American colonies. You know that students, USA, United States of America, there are different states, okay? So 13 American colonies. So France, Louis XVI was helping to the American colonies in running the war, in a prolonged war. The war is going with the Britain. So Britain is the enemy of the America. Okay. So at this time, when this war was going on, there are so many things that is required. Arms and ammunitions are required, soldiers are required, money is required. So to help these 13 American colonies, France was helping them financially, and it was due to that the treasury of the king of the France was not very good. Economic condition of the France was not very good. Number 2, when the king married to the princess, Austrian princess Marie Antoinette, she was extravagant. She used to do all extravagant expenses that was really not required. She had so many desires, and she used to buy different things, and she used to spend a lot of money on her dresses, on her other things, or the antique pieces that she wanted to buy. So she was extravagant because she used to spend a lot of money from the treasury. Not only that, we have seen that to fight the war, to help the 13 American colonies, this fight was going on, this war was going on. So France has taken a credit. France has taken a credit, you can call credit means loan. So France has taken, Louis XVI has taken a loan from different richer section of the people, and 1 1 billion livres. So livre was the money, was the currency. Livres, livres, livres was the currency of the France. So 1 billion livres was being taken as a loan by the Louis XVI. And now people, those rich people from where the king has taken this loan, now they have decided that they started asking from the king that please return that money and give it to us back. Okay, but king was not having that money, and with the multiple interest on that 1 billion livre has become another huge money, 2 billion livre. That means 1 billion livre is now how much he has to pay, king has to repay with the interest, 2 billion. That means the amount is doubled. Okay, so he has to return that money, and the people have started asking for returning it. Not only that, when we talk about the different things, the lenders have king wanted to take the money from different lenders, but the rate of interest was very high, and even from whom the king has taken that money, they were also charging 10% rate of interest on 1 billion livre that was given to Louis XVI. Not only that, students, there were other expenses were also there. Maintaining, king was with his family, he was living in a huge palace of Versailles. It is a grand palace where king used to live. There are thousands of workers working for him, and the maintaining cost of that palace is extremely high. Not only that, if we talk about the different expenses, number one, we have already discussed about that 13 American colonies. Louis XVI was helping 13 American colonies. He was giving money to those American colonies. Number two, Marie Antoinette, the Princess of Austria, she was also extravagant, also unnecessary expenses she also used to do it. Number three, maintaining the cost of Palace of Versailles, a huge palace. Salaries of all the attendants and workers working there. Maintaining all the officials working in the court. Okay, used to attend all these problems and discuss all his issues in the court. So all the court officials, they has to be maintained. Soldiers, armies, that has to be maintained. Other administrative expenses are also there to meet all these expenses. King was with a proposal, has decided that I am going to increase the taxes. We are going to increase the taxes. Now, who all are going to pay the taxes? What would be the condition? Who would be paying the taxes, and on whom the taxes would be laid? Okay, students, this you can see. This is another pyramid that you can see. When we are talking about the taxes, running the government offices, different schools and universities, regular expenses of the court and the court officials, and the regular day-to-day expenses of the king and Marie Antoinette, all these expenses are needed to be fulfilled, and this can only be done by increasing the taxes. So state has decided that we are going to increase the taxes, and we are going to rely on the different people. Who are the people who are going to pay the taxes? You must have seen this pyramid. So students, now we are going to see who all are constituting the entire population of the France. who all are living, how they are divided into the different class orders. This is already highlighted here. You can see that we have a peasants, we have the nobles, we have the lords, the king, and the land that is given to the land area of land is known as fief to the rich landlords, and the nobles gave this land to their professional soldiers. Peasants, they used to work for the nobles and the knights, and they used to protect these knights. The soldiers, they used to protect the entire city, and this is one of the army that used to protect the people from the outer enemies. So this is the pyramid that we have. Now we are going to see how the entire society was divided in different class order. Now see student, this is very important. You should understand it very nicely, how the entire population of the France was divided. You can see that we have three different estates. E-S-T-A-T-E, estates. First estate, second estate, and the third estate. Okay, so the entire society, entire population of the France was divided into three estates: first estate, second estate, and the third estate. The first estate, we have clergy section. Clergy, you can see that who all constitute the clergy section: the entire royal sections of the people, the priests, fathers of the church, and all. And you can see that in the second nobility section, rich nobles who owns the land, they are exempted from paying taxes. This is very important students. You need to see that first estate is not paying taxes, second estate is not paying the taxes, only the third estate. You can see that in the third estate we have rich businessmen, merchants, court officials who work for the king, lawyers, peasants and artisans, small peasants, landless workers, casual workers, servants, maids, they all constitute the third estate. The first estate, clergy section, king, they used to say that we own this land, we own this country, and we are the rulers of this country, so we are not going to pay the taxes. Number two, nobility sections. Richer section, other nobilities, richer section by birth. See, this difference of paying the taxes is owned on the basis of the birth. If I would have been born in the first estate, I don't have to pay the tax. If somebody is born in the second estate family, he don't have to pay the taxes. If somebody is born in the third estate family, then all those people have to pay the taxes who have taken birth in the third estate. So students, when we talk about the paying of the taxes, first estate not paying the taxes, second estate not paying the taxes, only the third estate used to pay the taxes to the king. Not only that, when we talk about the land, almost the population, almost 90% of the population was the peasants, and about 60% of the land was owned by the nobles and church and the richer section of the people. Only 40% of the land that was remaining was being possessed by the third section of the people, small plots of lands. So that means all the privileges, all the benefits, all the facilities were enjoyed by the first estate and the second estate. They enjoy these facilities and privileges because they have taken birth in these classes. And only the third estate used to pay the entire taxes and were all the expenses were borne by the third estate people. So students, at this time, when we talk about all these three states, you can see that the bureaucrats of the society, they are not paying the taxes. Extreme richer section of the people, ultra rich section of the people, they are not paying the taxes. Only the third group of the people, class order, was paying the taxes. That was the third estate was paying the taxes. So you can see that here we have two types of taxes, students. You can see that here we have two types of the taxes, tail and tithe. Tail and tithe. And if you are going to see that the tax that people used to pay to the church, that is known as tithe. So church has also levied taxes on the common people, that was known as tithe. There was another important tax that was paid, tail, tax that was directly paid to the king or to the state, to the government that we people are paying. Okay, so we have two kinds of taxes, tithe and the tail. Okay, and the other taxes were also levied on different goods and services. No, we pay sales tax on different commodities. If we buy the food, tobacco and drinks, beverages, food grains, all these things are also taxed. So on those commodities that we people are consuming, on that also the third estate people, they were paying the taxes. So not only this, students, the people who are of the third estate till the 18th century, when feudal system was there, to make his feudal lord happy. Feudal lord means landlord. To make his landlord happy, they used to pay him money or different gifts, or in different kinds the people used to pay to him, so that the landlord he would shower blessings on him, and landlord would be happy. If landlord would be happy, they will get regular wages, regular work they will get, and landlord would give them the credit or the loan or the money whenever they wanted at a crisis time. So students, we have seen that the common people, the third estate people, they were paying too much of the taxes on different things. Two types of taxes, tithe, they are paying to the church. Number two, tail. This is a tax that they are directly paying to the state. Number three, there are indirect taxes are also there, that is not visible, but whenever we buy any commodity, whenever we buy any good, we are paying, or any services that we are availing, we are paying for that. Any consumption, or on a salt or a tobacco, or any good that we buy for our day-to-day uses, on that also the state has live taxes. And you can see that there was an extreme burden on the common people on the third estate. So third estate was paying so many taxes, and they were not financially, they are not very rich also, and they are not very financially sound also, but they are paying the taxes. But you can see the first estate, the clergy section, royal section of the people, priests and the fathers, archbishops and bishops, they are not paying the taxes, whereas they can afford to pay the taxes, but they are not paying the taxes. Rich landlords, they are also not paying the taxes, but they can pay the taxes. They have a huge money available to them. But there are common people, poorer section of the people, peasants and farmers, landless workers, casual workers, they are extremely burdened with so many taxes. You can see this cartoon, how a common man is burdened with all these three sections of the people. You can see that nobility, clergy section, priest, landlords. That means the third estate was empowered by the other sections of the people, and this is really makes the terrible situation for the common people. So now students, you can see that now we'll come to the another important situation, the survival. The another topic that we people have with us, the struggle to survive. Definitely the common people, the third estate, who constitute 90% of the population, they were struggling to survive. They wanted to survive, they wanted to live a life, but it was struggleful, and they were in extreme trouble situations. So when we are talking about the 90% of the population of peasants, you can see that student at this time, in 1715, the population was only 23 million in France. But by 1789, the population has increased. You can see that 5 million people have increased, and in 1789, the population was 28 millions. And when we have population has increased, definitely their demands, their requirements, their needs has also increased. More of the production is required, more of the land is required, more of the agriculture production and other facilities are required by when the population has increased. So when we talk about the population, there was a rapid increase in the demands of food grains. But when we talk about the supply of the food grains, you can see that the people of the France, they call them bread. Okay, bread. The chapatis that we eat, that is a bread for Indians. Okay, for we people, we call it a bread. Okay, so the people, they also call the food that we eat, that was bread, that was a staple diet for them, and the production has not increased with the as compare the population has increased. So definitely the prices of the goods would increase. It has tremendously increased, and when there was increase in population, more of the population, the wages that is given to the people who work in the farms of the landlords and the feudal lords' land, when they work, they are given very low wages. With that low wages, they cannot buy the bread staple diet with the increased prices, because the prices has rose tremendously and very rapidly. So people were suffering with the hunger, okay, and they were not having the basic food or basic diet, 3 meal time a day that is required, that was also not available to them. So majority of population who worked as a laborer has a fixed wages, and their wages were very low. With that low wages, they cannot buy and they cannot survive, and they cannot buy the staple food for them and for their family members. Not only this, the gap between the rich and poor was increasing day by day. There was a gulf between the rich and poor, and this gulf or this gap or this difference between the rich and poor livelihood conditions were increasing day by day with the increasing prices of the basic things. And this situation becomes more worse when your harvest is not good. Okay, there was a hailstorm and the entire production was spoiled, and due to that the production was very less, and there was a great demand for the food and the production was not there. When production is not there, definitely students, you know that when supply would not be there of the basic food grain, then the prices would shoot up, would extremely high. At this situation, when the harvest was very bad, due to the extreme winter situations, extreme winter condition, this has made the condition more worse day by day, and we have seen that when it has led to subsistence crisis. It has led to subsistence crisis. What is subsistence crisis? An extreme situation. It is a situation when the person is unable to get the basic needs of his livelihood. He is not able to get the basic things, and his basic means of livelihood are endangered. Okay, so when the basic things of his survival are in danger, then that situation is known as subsistence crisis. That situation, that extreme situation of the people is known as subsistence crisis. When they wanted to subsistence, they wanted to survive, but there is a crisis for their survival, and in that survival they are not able to get the basic needs, they are not able to get the bread and butter of everyday meal. So that situation is known as subsistence crisis. When their livelihood is endangered, then that situation is known as subsistence crisis. So students, this is one thing to note, that only the third state was suffering with the subsistence crisis. That means the 90% of the population of the France was suffering with the subsistence crisis, and this was an ultimate situation. It is an optimum situation of the France when people were extremely in trouble. See, at this time, whenever you are in trouble, you know, we have heard that God sent some angels, God helped somebody to help the poor people or to the needy people. Same manner, at this time you can see that among the third state only, within the third state only, there were few richer section people were also there, few landlords were also there, government officials were also there, court officials were also there, some merchants were also there, small traders were also there, who have earned money through the oversea trade. Oversea trade means doing a trade with the different countries. So there were few merchants in the third state also who had a better financial conditions. Not only that, there was some learned section of the people, some educated people were also there, and they have with the new ideas, because educated people's horizon is more broader. They are not as conservative as the illiterate people. So they have a broadened horizon, and educated people, they raised their voice against the situations or against the system that was going on. And they have started telling to the people, they have started making people aware about that they should also raise their voice, why they are facing injustice, why they are living such life. And all this awareness was created by the middle section of the people. So this middle class people has to pay the taxes. They are also they have also been burdened with the increased taxes, and they are also not very happy with the system of privileges. These system of privileges were enjoyed by the first state and the second state, that is clergy and the nobility. So among this middle class students, you can see that we have merchants, manufacturers, lawyers, administrative officials, and they are educated also. And the people who are educated, definitely they are not going to face the injustice, they are not going to tolerate the injustice done by the upper section of the people. So they have decided that we people are going to raise voice against this injustice. So during this injustice time, in the middle class section, a few people have emerged, and these three people have been highlighted here. You can see that we have John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Charles Montesquieu. These people have made the people aware, common people aware, that why they have asked the common people that why you people are facing injustice. You can speak against this injustice that is taking place, because the common people, 90% of the population of the France was suffering with the all this injustice, or you can say that they were burdened with the system of privileges. John Locke has written a book, you can see with that red color, these are the different books that was written by these people. Two treatises of the government was written by John Locke. Okay, in this book, in two treatises of government, John Locke has highlighted that the doctrine of the divine and the absolute right of the monarch. King cannot enjoy all the divine rights and absolute rights, and he was totally against the all rights of the monarch. Monarch cannot be given all such rights. He cannot take, he cannot be an absolute monarch, cannot take and cannot decide how the peoples are going to live their life, and he cannot make the life of the other people as hell. So he said that the doctrine of the divine and the absolute right of the monarch is really not acceptable. He was totally against this. So this all has been highlighted in the two treatises of the government. There was another important writer, philosopher, who has wrote the another book, The Social Contract. In the Social Contract, the Rousseau has highlighted that there has to be a contract between the society and a representative. Society and a representative. So this was the social contract that was being proposed by the Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Charles Montesquieu has wrote a book, and in this book he has proposed that division of power should be there. All the power should not be enjoyed by the monarch. Students, in political science or in civics, you have studied about that government has different organs. Government has three different organs. Number one, legislature. Number two, executives. Number three, judiciary. So what Charles Montesquieu has highlighted that the power should be divided. There has to be a division of power among the government, legislative, executive and the judiciary. And this concept of dividing and the division of power is basically based on the American Constitution. When these 13 American colonies, they have became free, and they have introduced these three different organs: legislature, who makes rules and regulation; executives, who impose all these, who enforces all these rules and regulation; and judiciary is there to punish all those people who are not following and who are breaking and who are violating the different rules and regulation. So we have three different organs. So Charles Montesquieu has highlighted the division of power. Division of power between the legislature, executive and the judiciary. So students, these philosophers have highlighted that we should be away from the clutches of the monarch rule, and we are not proposing that all the absolute power should be enjoyed by the monarchy, even the common people should also have, and they are totally against that. Why? The first section of the people, second section of the people, first estate, second estate, clergy and nobility, they are not paying the taxes. Why they are not paying taxes? Because they are born, they have taken birth, in those two groups, so they are not paying it. When they are living in a country, they are enjoying that citizenship, so they should pay the taxes. So these different three philosophers of that era during that time in the 18th century has highlighted that all the privileges of the power should not be enjoyed by the only king and the nobility. So student, on the basis of these topics, I have given you an assignment. History, lesson number 1, French Revolution. This is the first assignment. Today is Thursday, so you can give me and send this homework. Only 15 questions you can send me on the next day only. Tomorrow you can send these questions. Continue in the same eco notebook. Don't ask me again and again. There are few students who are asking me again, ma'am, eco का अलग notebook चाहिए, history का अलग चाहिए. नहीं, you have to maintain the same notebook, eco and history. Okay, eco and history, I am taking these two subjects, so it has to be done in the same register or a notebook. Okay, the story of village Palampur you have done, so in the same notebook, continue it, make the format, put the date, write down the question. See students, I need question and answer. What you can do is, first you write a question, then answer. Leave a line, question and answer. There are few students who are writing all the questions first and then writing all the answers first. No, I cannot maintain that record, because I am not knowing which question is on at what number. So I will not be able to trace out if you write a wrong answer for that question. Okay, so send this to me. Fine. So till then, thank you so much.